I'm ready. Assalamu alaikum. This is the Improved Tuition Show on the Al Mubarak radio. You are listening to Al Mubarak radio with our official partner Interpol. It's Mr. Dabhad on the Improved Tuition Show. I'm going to talk today about a very important matter for children and parents, schools and teachers. The matter is, it's going to be about the secrets of success. How are we going to help our children to succeed for the future? My education, my future. Now, I'm going to talk about responsibility today. And I'm going to talk about responsibility for head teachers. I'm going to talk about responsibility for governors. I'm going to talk about responsibilities for governments. I'm going to talk about responsibilities for teachers. And most importantly, I'm going to talk about the two other responsibilities, responsibility of a child and the responsibility of a parent. Teachers have a responsibility, and the responsibility that the teachers have is to make sure that they inspire children, they motivate children, and they act as role models so that children are inspired and they are engaged and interested in the studies. Head teachers need to motivate their staff to make sure that they work hard for the school, motivating the teachers, motivating the staff, all working together to help the children succeed. Governors, again, should inspire the head teacher and be a critical friend to the head teacher. From my experience, what I've noticed that sometimes governors go in with great intentions, and head teachers and relationship between head teachers and governors becomes so close because head teachers begin to do favors for parents, parent governments, governors, community governors. And what I notice is that those intentions that were good then become selfish for that governor. So what's happening is I'm noticing how these governors who go in with good intent then don't have good intention, and then they seem to look after the head teacher, and they don't work to be a critical friend towards the head teacher. What do I mean by critical friend? Well, what I mean by critical friend is the role of a governor is to make sure that the head teacher is working in the interest of the parents, they're working in the interest of the school, they're working in the interests of the children. And governors need to make sure that they are detached from teachers and they work collectively for all parents, not just their own interests. I'm also going to talk about children. Children have a responsibility. You can be in the best school, you can have the best teachers, you can have the best education system in the world, but if you don't take responsibility, then you won't succeed. It's important that children must acknowledge their responsibilities, and they must work hard, and they must put effort into their studies, because if they don't put the effort into their studies, what's going to happen is children will not progress. Children have a future. You need to contribute to this country. If you don't contribute to this country, then you are not succeeding. You've got to help this country to succeed, and education plays a very big role in children succeeding. So children must take the responsibility of working hard. So if you've got the best teacher, take advantage of them. If you're in the best school, if you've got the best parents, take the responsibility, recognize the opportunities you are receiving in these circumstances, and take advantage of them. And make sure that you take advantage of them and you succeed in your life. Because what when you're a child, what happens is you've got the support of your parents, you've got the support of your siblings, you might have an older sibling, you might have a support of the schools, the teachers, and everybody around you are supporting you. But as you grow older and as you go from primary to secondary, you become more independent. And as you go from independent to A levels to degree, you become more and more independent. And once you are in a career, what's going to happen is you're going to be mostly on your own, and you've got to motivate yourself. And therefore, it's really, really important that children create circumstances for themselves and work hard and have inspiration and aspirations to succeed. Children, if you don't have the inspiration and aspirations to succeed, I ask you the question, would you want to work £6-7 an hour, or would you prefer to earn 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 times more than that? It's not all about money, but what I'm saying is there's research which shows, a research done by an organization called Pew. It's a world organization, and it shows studies throughout many countries that if those countries, those citizens who have a good income are generally much happier than those people who are living in poverty. So this is proven by research. Now, we've got to ensure that we work hard. We've got to offer a good society in which we're living in, and we've got to contribute in a way that is going to help society. So if you help society, then from a religious point of view, this is going to be very good for you, because God is going to look at it in a good way, and you're going to succeed. If you unless you try, unless you go for it, unless you don't try, you won't discover the abilities within you. So if you want to become an innovator, if you want to become an inventor, if you want to be a health carer, if you want to become a teacher, if you want to become a professional, you've got to discover those qualities. And in your youth, you've got to try many things so that you can see what your ability is, and you can find and discover that ability. You can find that ability in you, and you can use that ability to do goodness in the world. Now, the success of this country depends a lot on the education system. So if you have a good education system, then the future will be a lot brighter, because children will grow into professionals. If you want to be, if you don't take education seriously, then you're going to fail this country. I'm going to repeat that again. If you don't take education seriously, you're going to fail this country. This country provides you a lot of opportunities. It provides you immense opportunities. If you compare this system to the systems out there in other parts of the world, you will agree that it's a lot fairer system than there are in other parts of the world. We have a free education system. We have the poor can have meals at lunchtime in schools. The poor can have an equal chance to succeed. How many people do I know who come from poor backgrounds and are today doctors? I know a number of people. So it's your chance, it's your opportunity to take advantage of the education system. This country has provided us with the means. It's provided you with the means. It's provided me with the means. And we've got to take advantage of those means. We've got to take advantage in a way so we can build the roots of success. If the foundation is strong, if we have a good education system, once we're on the career ladder, there are more chances, there are more opportunities for us to excel in our careers. Now, there are a lot of people out there who today are successful. There are a lot of people out there who failed a number of times. And there are a lot of people who failed and fallen and got back up and fallen and have got back up and have fallen, and they've kept on falling and getting back up and succeeded. Internationally, basketball players like Michael Jordan, he's missed thousands of shots. Did you know that he wasn't selected in his school team? Did you know that? The basketball player, Michael Jordan, was not selected in his school team. There are people out there who are internationally renowned today, whose teachers said to them, they'll never succeed. The Harry Potter book, that was rejected so many times by so many publishers, but look at it today. Just because you're getting rejections, just because you're failing, it does not mean that you are not capable of. Maybe it might take you longer, but believe me, if you by the end you become that better solicitor, you become that better accountant, you become that health practitioner, that inventor, the innovator, you'll be much better because you've fallen. And do you know why? Because each time you fall, you will grow and you'll succeed and you'll perfect yourself. Now, you shouldn't be worried about failures, because if you're worried about failures and rejection, then you never will try to discover your own abilities. You've got to try and test the different areas. So if you get that homework, you should try and take it seriously, because you might find that what you didn't enjoy, you begin to enjoy. It's always important to have the right people around you. So if you're a child, if you're a teenager, if you're in higher education, support from parents, support from adults such as teachers, from tutors, from other people who can coach you, who can mentor you, who can talk about their own experiences, who can share their experiences, tell you where they went wrong, and they can help you, guide you, and nurture you. You should take advantage of this. Children shouldn't look at them as nagging. Relationships must be strong between adults and children. If the relationships are strong between adults and children, then there are more chances that children will succeed. So adults have to make sure that they work hard to build strong relationships. Strong relations is important. Then children will listen to adults and will respect the adults. It's important parents have excellent relationship with teachers. If there are disputes between teachers and a parent, or a tutor and a parent, it's important these disputes are not near the child, because if they are near the child, then the child will lose respect for the teacher, they will lose respect for the tutor, they will lose respect. And if they lose respect, then the children will not study as much as they should do. Now, even to this date, I still ask for advice. I go to a number of people for advice. I will go to my friends for advice. I will go to professionals for advice. I will go to my family members for advice. And advice should not be considered as a weakness. It should not be thought that because you're taking advice that you are weak. In fact, it's a strength. Taking advice from people around you is important. Now, this is an important secret of success. You've got to have a listening ear. If you're a child, if you're a parent, you should take each other's advice. The child should listen to the parents. The parents should listen to the concerns of the child and address any issues. If they need extra help, we should not just bombard them with weaknesses. They should listen to the child and try to address those weaknesses. If a child has problems, they should listen to the parent, because the parent has often lived 25 years more than the life they've lived. They've gone through those pitfalls. They've made them mistakes. They've gone wrong themselves. I have to admit, there have been times when I myself have made mistakes in my education system when I was younger. There are times when I've not done that homework that I should have done. But you've got to admit, regardless of those mistakes, you've got to understand that parents are there to guide you, and if the guidance is there, then you are lucky. So if adult guidance is there from your teachers, from your parents, these people will inspire you to do well, and you'll feel emotionally and mentally much more stronger. And because you're going to feel much more stronger, you're going to excel. And the part of a battle is having self-worth and getting that from the adults around you. There are, unfortunately, for some children, where there are circumstances in which they are unable to excel. Some children might not have a father. Some children might not have a mother. Some children might have gone through some trauma in their family situation. Some children might be in those circumstances. And even though we have these circumstances, these problems are always going to be there. You're going to have your highs and your lows in life, but you can't allow those highs, those lows to dictate your destiny. You've got to get up and fight back every time you have a low. Every time you set back, you should move forward. You should reflect. And when you reflect, you should reflect in a manner which allows you to look at the mistakes and the weaknesses and the problems and the issues and the circumstances, and then go forward. You've got to have patience. You should not, every time you have a failure in an exam, every time you have a failure, you should try and fight back and get that support around you and do better. If you've done well, if you've got an A, go for an A star. Why not? Why is it different? Why is person X different from person Y? Many times it's the effort that goes in and the support system around them. Now, so even though there may be circumstances in your life, you can't allow those circumstances to dictate your progress and your performance in the educational system. So, for example, in America, 63% of people are in single parent families. Now, you can't let that disadvantage you. That should be an inspiration for you to succeed even more. If you're a parent, you shouldn't feel sorry for yourself. You should go forward and try your level best to move forward and get that help. Now, it is difficult for some parents in a single family to work and get and build a future, but that should not set you back. There are people out there who are succeeding today and have succeeded because in those circumstances where their father might have passed away when they were 2 years old. I have one of my pupils. They've been coming to me since they were in year 4. The one child is in year 11. One child is doing A levels now, but they've been coming to me when they were in year 4 and year 5. This lady is a widow. She doesn't speak a word of English. She doesn't. She's not got a husband, and she supported her children. Her child was in set 4, and that child moved up to set 1 and passed the Heaven White Grammar School exam. Heaven White Grammar is the 3rd best state school in this country. It outperforms many other private schools in this country. So those private schools which are fee paying, it outperforms them. And this mother who had a year 4 child, who several years ago put effort into that child and came to our tuition, succeeded, and their child are doing fantastically well. This mother used to bring the child to tuition even in the snow. When most double parent families where there was a mum and dad would not walk out of their house and walk to tuition, or you couldn't drive to tuition in the snow, that parent sent their child. She wouldn't allow her child to miss one day of tuition. In a similar way, you shouldn't allow your child to miss one day of school. In 5 years, I never missed one day of school, except when it was Eid. That's in 5 years, never ever missed one day of school, and that is remarkable. Now, so if you work hard, you'll get the fruit of your hard efforts. So if you work hard, you will succeed. And maybe it may take longer for some people. Maybe you will have your setbacks. But just like Michael Jordan, how he failed, and he was not accepted in his school basketball team. And today he is a renowned basketball player. And just the way Harry Potter, the writer about Harry Potter, her book was not published by several publishers and not accepted. These people went on and succeeded. So you shouldn't let other people's opinions and other people's views give you setbacks, because how can they judge? Only you know what you're capable of, or you know that if you put the effort in, you can succeed. It's formula for all of us. It's the same formula. Effort means success. If you sit there and you waste your time on Xbox, if you waste your time on PlayStation, if you waste your time on watching television, children, you won't succeed. Parents, if you allow your child to work, to watch TV for most of the day or play Xbox because you can keep them quiet, then this is not good. You have to have a balance of entertainment, and you've got to have a balance of studying. So there should be a life balance between studying, and there should be a balance between entertainment and free time. Now, there are a lot of people, even in our community, who've really succeeded around us, and you will find that a lot of them came from India. They might have come from Pakistan. They might have come from Bangladesh. And these people came to this country. They borrowed some money for the airline ticket. They worked very, very hard in the 70s and the 80s and the 90s, and today they're very successful. They're successful because they had a determination to succeed. They had a vision, they had a dream, and these people worked very, very, very hard. They had some luck on their side as well, but the luck happened because the opportunities were created through hard work. In a similar way, using that analogy, if you study hard, if you work hard, if you get a good education, then you're creating those opportunities, you're creating those chances for you to succeed like these people. So if you want to run a big company, if you want to have an excellent career, you're going to have education. Now, this isn't the rule for a lot of people. There are a small number of people, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 20 people or more who in the world who succeeded without education. But for most people, education is very, very important. And those people who've succeeded, one thing they'll mention is that I wish I had an education, and they value the education. So these people that came to this country, they made so many sacrifices. They worked 12 hours in a textile mill. They worked selflessly for their families. They worked 7 days a week. They worked 6 days a week, and they gave up a lot for us. Now, what we see around us today in our communities, whether we're in Leicester, whether we're in Blackburn, whether we're in Batley or Dewsbury, or whether we're in London, or whichever communities we live in, if you set the time back 35 years, 40 years, 45 years, you'll find that we were an alien in this society. If you go back to these years, you'll see that we didn't have the restaurants. We didn't have the clothes shops. We didn't have the educational support. We didn't have many of the things that many of the children take for granted around here. I remember going to a madrasa in an old church. And I remember going there and it being very cold, walking up and walking down, and even in the madrasa. I remember that the ustads, a lot of them didn't even speak English. And what I'm really trying to say is circumstances are a lot easier today than they had been then. Our parents had it much, much more difficult than we have. So therefore, we shouldn't have the excuses. We should excel in the next 30, 40 years as a community, whether we're in Leicester, whether we're in Blackburn, whether we're in London, wherever we are, we should excel and we should not stagnate. We've succeeded up to here. We need to succeed more. And education plays a strong part in this. Now, you're not going to love every subject. You're not going to love every teacher. And definitely, you're not going to love receiving homework. But what I have to say to you is, if you want to succeed, you need to try. So you might not have the best teacher, or you might not have the teacher that you love, or you might not enjoy that subject. But you've got to give it your best shot, because you've got to discover within you what you enjoy. So if you discover within you what you enjoy, and you find out that I'm an arts person, or I'm a science person, or I'm in design, or I'm an innovator, or I'm going to be an inventor, or I'm going to be an engineer, whatever, you'll be through these experiences in your education system, within your schooling, you can find out what your strengths are, and you can find out what your weaknesses are, and you can discover yourself. Now, you might find that certain things are not relevant to you in this time of your life. You may think that this piece of homework it has no significance to me in this part of my life. But the critical thinking that you pick up or you develop from your history assignments, from your psychology assignments, are going to enable you to use these skills in society, whether you're going to be a social worker or whether you go into communities or you go into you're going to be able to use these skills. Now, you've got to think, how am I going to, as a child, you need to think, how am I going to contribute to society? How did Google contribute to society? How has Twitter, how has Facebook, all these people have contributed positively to society. How are you going to contribute to society? Are you going to be positive for society? Or are you going to be negative for society? Are you going to be a burden for society? Or are you going to be a strength for society? Now, I feel very passionate about this, that there are people in the community, in every community, children, teenagers, who cause so much disruption, and it costs the government, it costs the police to police these areas. Now, they are a nuisance to communities, they're nuisances to people, they're nuisances to the police. It's a cost for this country. And because it's a cost to this country, we cannot excel further. We should have investments in this country, not costs in this country. We 30, 40 years ago, we came from India and Pakistan and Bangladesh, and we're in this country. We are spending out of 365 days, we are spending more time in this country than we will ever do in these countries as it holds at the present. So you've got to be realistic. So if you're Indian, if you're Pakistani, if you're Bangladeshi, you've got to think, my country is this country, and it is this country at the moment. And you've got to build your foundation here. And you've got to build your future here. And the education system that is here, how much it's improved in the last 20 years. If you compare it to the education system in Pakistan, in India, in the less developing countries, you'll find that there's a massive difference. Yet children, groups of children aren't taking advantage of this. Parents are not motivating their children to succeed, to have an education. Parents would prefer to go out with their friends and have a meal on a Friday night, Saturday night, than to spend time with their children, because they consider the children as a burden. If this is not how it should be. Our parents have spent a lot of time a lot of hard work behind us, and we need to do the same for our children. We need to all think about our children and develop them so that they all get a good education system and they have a good education. And if they have a good education, then it gives those children opportunity to succeed in life. Now, everybody dreams. Many people dream. They dream of accomplishing many things. But there are a lot of dreamers. There are a lot of people who are out there just talk the talk, but don't do the walking and the action. A lot of youth aspire to become the doctors or aspire to achieve, but they are overwhelmed by it all. Now, sometimes it's because they don't put it into action. Other times it's because they're not getting the right support. How to learn is very, very important. You could look at a paragraph in a subject and you could try to learn the material in it. Now, if you approach it in the wrong way, it might take you an hour. You could learn a paragraph in 3-4 minutes if you know how to learn. And it's important that these techniques of how to learn are instilled in, many times the difference between two sort of people is not their ability, it's because one knows how to study and the other one doesn't know how to study. That's one puts in the effort and the other one doesn't put in the effort. And that's the difference. This is the difference between many people. Some people are smart and have picked it up on how to learn, whereas other people haven't. And that's what makes the difference. Now, if you want to accomplish something in your life, if you want to accomplish, be healthy, be healthy financially for your family, then you're going to have a good education system. Now, I'm going to tell you a story. I'm going to tell you a story about a guru. And this guru was a very successful businessman. Now, this young man said, "How are you successful? Can you tell me?" And this old man who was a guru said, "Look, okay, I'm going to see you at 4 a.m. in the morning." And this young man thought, "Why are you asking me to come at 4 o'clock in the morning when I'm asking you to show me how to do better in my life, how to run that company, how to be financially strong like you? What's the beach I'm meeting you at 4 o'clock in the morning got to do with it?" Now, what the purpose was that he came at 4 o'clock in the morning, the guru met him and he said, "Look, walk to that ocean." And he walked to that ocean. When he walked to that ocean, the water was waist high. And he said to the guru, "What's this got to do with it? What's the water got to do with success and the advice that I'm asking from you?" And then he started running away. And when he started running away, he then turned around and the guru said, No, come back. So he came back and he says, "Look," and he put his head down into the water. The guru put the young man's head into the water and he said, "When you want to breathe as much as you want success, and if you want success as much as you want to breathe, then you're going to succeed." So if you're having an asthma attack, those people who've experienced asthma attacks, nothing will matter around you. PS3 won't matter, Xbox won't matter, the people around you won't matter, the distractions around you won't matter. But if you want to succeed in life, then if you want to breathe and you want that breath because you're having an asthma attack, then you're gonna have this. You want that breath, and when you want that breath, and when you want that, you're gonna die for that breath, and you will do anything, and you won't be bothered about the distractions around you. In the same way, if you want success in your education system, if you want to learn, if you want to do well, you've got to take them distractions out of you. You've got to take those distractions out of you, whether it's the watching TV, whether it's distractive friends who just want to be out there partying, whether it's those people around you whether it's you playing on the PlayStation. You've got to take these distractions out of your life. If you take these distractions out of your life, then what's going to happen is you're going to increase your chances of success. Now, like that guru, that man thought he was crazy. He was thinking, what's the beach before him got to do with this success? But the point is that if you really want success in the education system, if you want to do well in your subjects, if you want to do well at college, if you want to do well at university, if you want to do well in your life, then you've got to be desperate for that success, and you've got to crave for that success, and can't just dream it. You can't just say, I'm going to dream for success and do nothing about it. You've got to go for that success, and you've got to fight for that success. If you're going to holiday all the time, if you're going to party all the time, the success isn't going to come. Nobody's going to give you it on the plate. If somebody is giving you it in the plate at the moment, that's going to run out one day. And like I said, when I started the conversation at first, what did I say? I said that as you are a toddler, as you are young, you're going to get a lot of help from your family members, your parents, your mum, your dad, your older siblings. But as you grow older, you're going to have to become more independent. And these are habits you've got to create from now. From when you go from primary to high school, you've got to start developing those habits, because if you don't develop those habits, nobody's going to give you that success. So you might come from a family who's wealthy, but if you don't do something for yourself, then that success will continue. You've got to create your own success. You've got to get up on your own feet and do well. And this is what I'm advising. This is what I'm saying to the children. Children, you have to take opportunities around you. Don't lose that chance. This country is giving you ample opportunities. It's giving you ample opportunities to succeed. It's there for you. It's there for you to take. It's like biryani and jaddo. It's there for you to take advantage. Don't waste your time. Don't waste your youth. Get an education and do well. If you want a good future, work hard. Now, there are people a very small number of people who don't get an education and do well, but that's just a minority. So don't let those people make you believe that it's possible to be successful. Yes, it is possible to be successful, but it's only possible to be successful for the minority. Statistically, there are more people who succeed through the education system than those who don't. Just look around you. Look around you at those people who didn't have an education, and look at those people who have an education. Compare their lives. I'm not saying that it's for some people they've hit it lucky, and that's because they've worked hard for it. But I'm talking about the many people, the majority. So you've got to want it really bad. You've got to want it really, really bad. You want to crave for success, and you want to sacrifice that time with your friends when they want to party. Now, I'm not saying that you shouldn't enjoy life. You shouldn't take that time. What I'm saying is, if you're going out all the time with your friends, or you're on WhatsApp all the time, or you're on social media all the time, and it's a distraction for you, then it becomes a problem. If you want to make your dream a reality, only you can work hard, and you can help make that destiny. And if you believe that somebody else is going to do it for you, it won't happen. And if they are, then it won't continue for the end of your life many times. So you've got to try really hard. You've got to work really hard in your education. If you've got GCSEs, commit. Don't waste your time. 1 second you shouldn't waste. 1 second you shouldn't waste. If you're doing your GCSEs at the moment, you should have a structure, a timetable when you do certain subjects. Start with the worst subjects. Start with those subjects you don't enjoy and become strong. My history teacher, I hated history. I never enjoyed history. In my mock in November and December, I got an E. That's because I didn't do any work. I didn't enjoy the history. What did I do? I studied for 6 weeks before the exam for 30 minutes every day, and I got an A. I got an A in 1990. and I got an A in 1990. And you know, Mr. Flood, who was the teacher, a teacher at the time, he would give my story to to children for years to come until the end of his career at that school. And that was only possible because I started with the worst subject, and I worked hard 30 minutes every day doing that subject. From 5 o'clock to 5:30, I would do history every day. And I got an A. From an E in November in 1989 to an A in 1990, I achieved it. Friends who were younger than me would come up to me and tell me that your teacher talks about you so well because of the achievement you made. That was a 5-grade improvement. And I was determined to succeed. I didn't know I was going to get an A, but I worked hard. And even though I didn't enjoy it, I ended up taking that at A level. I took history at A level, and I took it because I began to enjoy it. So many times, give a subject a chance. Once you start doing well in that subject, you'll find that many times you'll start enjoying it. Now, don't let anybody tell you that you can't do it. Don't let your friends say it. Don't let members around you say it. If you dream and you work hard, you can achieve it. Many times, a lot of people will say you can't do it because they themselves can't do it. And many times, because they can't do it themselves, or they haven't got the energy and determination that you could have, and they recognize in you, they're going to tell you you can't do it, and they're going to try putting you down, and they're going to try putting you down, and they're going to try making you believe that you can't do it. You should never ever believe that. You should try, and even if you fail, you should get up and try again. You don't need to prove anything to nobody. You only have to prove it to yourself. Prove it to yourself that you can do it. Believe in yourself. How can you expect other people to believe in you if you yourself don't feel confident? You've got to have that confidence. In whatever subject you do, you should go for excellence. Even if you don't enjoy that subject, go for excellence. It should be a habit. Excellence should be a habit. You should go for excellence in everything you do. You should raise your standards. If you make mistakes, reflect. Look at it and think, okay, where did I go wrong? What is it that I was doing that was a weakness? The man who wins is the man who thinks he can, and that's something that is so important. If you believe that you can do it, you can succeed, you will do it in your education, in your learning. But if you believe that you can't do it, if you believe that you can't achieve it, then you won't make it. Now, inch by inch, since the 1960s, people from India, Pakistan, Bangladesh have come to this country and improved their lives. If you compare the lives of many Asians today, they've done fantastically well in proportion to the country, the people here. Now, what I'm saying is that young people, a lot of them have inherited a lot of things that we take for benefit, the environment around us, the mosques, the madrasas, the schools, and the culture we have. We've inherited that, but you should use that as a base to succeed. We've got the environment now, but you should now use that to succeed. Now, without sacrifice, you won't succeed. If you know, every generation, every year, there will be children who say, "Oh, I didn't revise for that exam." Don't believe it. I'm telling you, don't believe it. They will say to you, very many people will turn around to you in schooling and will say, "Oh, I got 7 A stars. I didn't do any work." That's not true. They'll get a 2-1 or a first, and they'll say, "I didn't do any work." These people are misleading you. They're misleading you. They are competitive. They don't want you to do better. So they'll try to make you believe that they're naturally gifted, but really they'll be sacrificing so much time. They'll be sacrificing so much effort, so many friendships, so many parties that's what got them to succeed. So don't believe these people, because in every GCSE year, in every A-level year, in every degree year, there are people who will give you this tale. Now, I'm going to give a short break. I'm going to be offline for 5 minutes, and then I'm going to come back in 5 minutes to 7 minutes. I'm going to resume. So I'm going to come back in 5 to 7 minutes, and I'm going to be on air in 5 to 7 minutes. I'm going to just take a short break.
Okay, assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Jazakumullah khair to everybody listening out there. Mr. Dabar just taking a few minutes break, and inshallah then we will be back on air as well. I hope everybody is enjoying the program. Please give us your feedback, okay, on the telephone number, text, WhatsApp on 07868476577. Give Mr. Dabar a little bit of encouragement. We'd love your feedback on the program. I've been watching it actually, and now you can access it directly from our website as well. If you go on to our website, www.almubarakradio.com / and then watch live. Okay, that's all you do. And if you go on to our website, www.almubarakradio.com, and then there's a watch live tab right at the top next to the, I think, the home page, and you just click on there and you're watching the program live. So everything on one website. How easy, okay, is it making for everybody to listen and or watch live now? We're trying to see, we're still working very, very hard to put everything for better listenership and also for better viewing as well. So if it's a choice, people who want to watch, people who want to listen to it on the app, etc. So it's an option. I want to say a big jazakumullah khair to the person who, mashallah, is handling all of this behind the scenes. It's not me, believe it or not. It can never be me. I would not have a clue how to put all this together. There are people, alhamdulillah, who do this, okay, with the love and, from their heart. Allahu Akbar, fi sabilillah, and they will be, inshallah, rewarded for all of this, inshallah. May Allah reward them. Please make dua for them. Brother Nadim, may Allah reward him immensely for any time, because when I phone him, he's probably working, etc. But even then, he will get it everything done, and put, and he's just done this live website on the website, well, the live website update, which is now viewable for our live shows as well. So watch almubarakradio.com/watch and then a hyphen live, watch hyphen live. Okay, so you can just go to the best thing to do is almubarakradio.com, go on to the home page and then click watch live. Okay, that makes it much easier. That's the way I would do it. And then also now we've got a few projects coming up as well in the next few months, and on the home page as well we've put our first project together with Interpal. Okay, it's a winter warm campaign as well, and people who want to donate, want to call into the studio, call the number 01924472776. And also anybody wants to click onto the photo, it'll take you to a paying option somewhere. Again, I don't know how it's all done, but remember, it's 100% donation policy. Remember that much. I can give you a guarantee on that. 100% donation policy for this project, and everything we will be passing on to Interpal for that campaign. Remember, it's very cold outside, isn't it? I'm sure you are freezing. My phone's ringing, but it's in the other room. Oh my word. What do I do? Right, I'll stay on the radio until Mr. Dabad comes back, and then I give a call back. That's the only thing I can do right now. Right, okay, Jazakumullah khair. Please do give a feedback. Okay, please text WhatsApp on 07868476577. And inshallah, Mr. Dabad, in a few minutes, inshallah, will be taking you all into the next final part okay, of the program. Mashallah, I can hear my phone tinging. Okay, that's the noise I have on my radio phone, tinging away in the other room as well. Anybody else who is also listening, please, I am encouraged, because I know, because I've been telling a lot of the presenters that the relationship, alhamdulillah, I have built with my listeners over the years, alhamdulillah, it's beautiful, because I do keep in touch also when I can, because there are a lot of numbers, but those people who message me, I reply to them. It's a relationship I have created, alhamdulillah, over time with my listeners. But you see here, all the presenters may be new. Some you may have heard in the month of Ramadan, but now they're visible as well on YouTube, etc. So again, with them, please do keep texting, WhatsApping on our telephone number 07868476577. They will get more confident. They will be giving you better shows, etc. I know there are a lot of people, when I go out and I'm driving about, etc., a lot of people stop me. Mashallah, great idea what you're doing on YouTube. It's something new. Nobody's really done it before. You guys have smashed it, the youngsters, etc. You guys have smashed it, and this is how I'm getting told everywhere I'm going. A lot of people have also messaged and text me for from other places, other towns, cities, etc. So alhamdulillah, everybody is appreciating it. But the best way is also just like thanking me and saying jazakallah to my team. I would like everybody to really, yesterday Khalid Bhai Patel of FCPM, he came on, and alhamdulillah, in Leicester, radio is no stranger. Everybody there, they have radio throughout the year, FM. I'll be on FM inshallah in Leicester throughout the weekends in December and the first weekend of January as well. Been booked, and FM radio will be also hopefully doing it on, streaming it live on our radio as well. But the main thing Khalid Bhai Patel mentioned was interaction. It's a very key word on radio. If you go right now on a talk show, any radio station on a talk show, the main thing, right, all the radio talk shows will be around is interaction. People will be calling in, people will be tweeting, people will be messaging, and this is the kind of ways we have to also start doing it now. If you are listening, if you are watching, you can be the start of that, and then others will follow suit, inshallah. Right, I will give it back to Mr. Dabad now with the education show. Inshallah, I hope you enjoy the rest of the show. I'll be back shortly after that. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Okay, you're on the Improved Tuition Show. So, some of the things we've been talking about is we've been talking about the secrets of success. You're on the Improved Tuition Show, by the way, and we're talking about the secrets of success in education. What is it that we need to do to have that success? Now, some of the things that we've talked about is that we've got to be responsible. Children need to have that responsibility, and children should know that, take that responsibility, that if they can have the best teacher, they can have the best school, they can have the best parents, the parents can have a lot of concern. But if the children don't have that, take that responsibility within them, that no, I have to do something for myself, then success is not going to come. So you could go to Hem and White Grammar, the country's top state school. It's the number third state school. That means that from government schools, it's number 3 in the country. Then you're going to come out with very few GCSEs. You won't succeed, and you've got to have that determination and that fighting power to do that. And if you don't have that drive, then even if everything is there, if you have the most supporting parents, you have the best teachers, the best tutors, you can come to Improved Tuition. And if we work really hard, but if you yourself don't take that responsibility, then you're not gonna succeed. You're not gonna take the best out of it. You can do 3 years of tuition, and if you don't develop, if you don't have that drive within you, that energy within you, that determination within you, then it's going to be really, really difficult for you. You're going to waste your money. You're going to waste your parents' money in tuition. You're going to waste their time. You're going to waste the tutor's time. You're going to waste a lot of time. And therefore it's important that if you're gonna go to the best tuition company, if you're gonna have the best tutors, you've got to be able to and willing to put that effort in, because unless you put that effort in yourself, it isn't going to work. You've got to take that responsibility yourself and think, I want to learn. And when you go to a tutor, it's not like you have 30 children and the teacher is divided between 30 children. You may be in a small group of 3 to 4 children, and tutors are able to inspire children and address those weaknesses and make them into strengths. They can, in teaching, you say scaffold. They can basically develop that understanding for that subject, those topics, those areas where you're weak at. And when you develop those strengths, those weaknesses into strengths, I see the majority of our pupils, they move up from being average or being very weak, and they make 2 years progress within a very short time, within a 6-7 months time. And we are able to do this. Now, if you look at those people who are with us, who are already with us, if you look at your child's learning 6 months ago, and you compare to what learning was like 6 months ago, or a year ago, or 2 years ago, and you compare it to what it is now, you'll find that with Improved Tuition, there is going to be that they will be making a huge success. Now, it's not just that we shouldn't just be thinking maths, English, and science. learning is in everything. If you want, let the child discover through studying their own subjects what they want to be. Do not try to impose on them what you'd like them to be. You can nurture them, you can guide them, get them to research. If your child is in year 9, year 10, year 11, get them to research different professions and say to them, look, right, okay, you're interested in engineering, or you're interested in medicine, or you're interested in law or accountancy, or you're interested in this area, in the environment, or you're interested in community work, or you're in whatever the child is interested in. What you should try and do is you should try your level best to help that child research and get an understanding and feeling about the skills and abilities and that are needed to enjoy that profession. I love teaching, absolutely love teaching. I could do it all day and I wouldn't get bored. When I was tutoring grammar school children myself, I got 100% success. I teach my grammar school children mostly myself. Most of them I teach myself now. And we're going for 100% success. And we're going for 100% success this year. And because I want to continue that pattern, which what we had. Now, last couple of years, out of 14 children, long-term children, we've had 10 passes. Even that is significant, especially when this year there has been so many changes to White Grammar's exams. Most people are getting 2 passes. We're getting 7 passes from 11 children, and that is excellent. Now, this year I've taken the sole responsibility of a tutoring, and we're going for 100%, and we're making that a pledge that we will get that 100%. Now, unless we get the support of the parent, unless we get the support of the children, unless we have the parents sending the children regularly, we can't do that. The success of this country depends on having the youth having a good education. We have to take education seriously. If we fail in education, our country will fail. Think about what's running this country. Most of the things that are joined up are companies with educated people who are in marketing, who are in accountancy, who are or they might be in politics or are in government, and these, or they might be in the council, and all these join together and build the country. If we want to take this country forward, we've got to understand that we need good education. We need to aim high. With the global economy, with globalization since the 1990s, what's happened is our children are competing with children in China, in India, and these countries, as their GDP increases, as their gross domestic product increases, as their national income increases. And if we're here and they're there, and if we're in 20, 30, 40, 50 years, it's going to catch up. And what's going to happen is we will be competing for the same jobs. And that's why, and what's going to make the economy strong is having those critical thinkers, those problem solvers, those designers, those inventors, those innovators, those developers. And that's what's going to push this country forward. Because what is happening is countries like China, countries like India, their national income is catching up, and their living standards is catching up to ours. That's why there's going to be more competition for jobs. It's going to be much more difficult for the youth to develop their careers than they ever has. And that's because of the global competition, businesses being set abroad. Many children will have to move out globally. They'll have to go to countries like India. They'll have to go to countries like China. They'll have to go. At the moment, countries like China and India are excelling. There's going to be countries like Africa that are going to be coming up soon. We're talking about India today. We're talking about China today. Tomorrow, we could be talking about African countries. And there's going to be a point where over 100 years, a lot of countries will have caught up. Over 50 years, 30 years, 20 years, many countries will have caught up. And so if you've got a good education, then you're going to create opportunities for yourself. There are people that I know who are from Batley, who work in Singapore, who are working in different Malaysia, who are living in different parts of the world, who live in London, and who live in or are in this country or work in Dubai, and they work in different parts of the world, and that's because this education has allowed them to take that benefit. So this country has provided us with the means. It's provided the children with the means of and the platform for succeeding. So it's your chance, children, to take this opportunity. I mentioned a child who was brought up by a widow, and he's still with us in tuition. He came to us in year 5. His brother came in year 4. His brother's doing A-level tuition with us. He's looking to rejoin with us as well. And that child moved from set 4 to set 1 and is succeeding. And think about it. That child was on set 4, but mum gave a lot of support. And every time I speak to mum about that child, she's always saying he's excelling in everything he's doing. A child who was on the bottom table is excelling today in everything. It's support you've got to give as parents. There's the means here. There's the opportunities here. This country is providing us with a lot of opportunities. You've got to take those opportunities and help your child, nurture your child. If this is really frustrating. Many parents nowadays are on WhatsApp all the time, on social media all the time, and they'll have their child and they'll be sat in a corner on their iPad, the child, or on an Xbox, and they'll be wasting their time away. I'm not saying that this is social media is wrong. I'm not saying that playing on the Xbox or PS3 is wrong, or watching TV is wrong. What I'm saying is everything in balance. And like if you've got a parent and she's going out to the restaurant with her friends and she's coming in at 11:30, 12 o'clock, and the child's in primary, and poor dad or poor siblings looking after them, older sibling, then what about the quality time that the child needs, that love and affection? I see this, like parents who demand so much from their children, but they don't create the right conditions for those children. They demand their child that they should get into the top schools, yet they themselves are disciplined. They don't have the same discipline but have the expectations. It's important we are the right role model. We are the right role model so that children can look at us. Otherwise, when they're a teenager, they might not say when they're a primary, but they're going to say, look, mum, look, dad, you're not doing this. And they'll start saying that as soon as we'll start growing up to be 13, 14, 15, they'll challenge you on this. So you've got to be a good role model. You've got to show that show your children that you read extensively, and you should talk about and discuss reading with your child so they get interested. If your child doesn't like reading, but they love football, get them to read. Get them to read on football and build that interest through football because they enjoy football, and so they like to learn about those footballers, and through reading they can learn. So you know you've got to be smart. You've got to be smart with the children. You've got to press the right button. Unfortunately, when children are failing because they've worked really hard, we sometimes think that they don't have the ability. But like I said earlier, the difference between two individuals is that one knows how to study and the other one doesn't. So one will learn a paragraph in a parrot fashion and try to digest that in an hour, whereas the other child will learn the main points and will learn it in 3-4 minutes. And that other person who's learned it in an hour will be mentally distraught and will find it overwhelming. Many times the children need to learn how to learn. Improve tuition, we teach children how to learn. We teach children what it takes, what is it, how do you learn? And children need to be taught these habits. If you don't teach the children these habits, then they won't succeed as much. Learning how to learn is so important. They may make mistakes with their homework. If you get that calculation wrong, try again. If they're working hard with a maths topic and they're not getting it the first time, they try, retry, go on the internet, see how it gets, do some reading, come back, go onto YouTube, get off of YouTube, go to your tutor, get all the support. There's so many facilities around you nowadays. A great way to learn is through YouTube. You can you can type in a topic, and you can look at a topic and find out how to learn that topic, how to do Pythagoras theorem, for example. And you need that because you can have a tutor, that's fine. They're going to give you that inspiration, they're going to give you that learning, but you might just be able to have that tutor for an hour. But at home, you've got to, as well as the tutor, you've got to have this at your disposal so that you can use these tools to help you with your understanding. Every child needs to be mentored. Every child needs coaching. Every child needs inspiration. Every child needs motivating. Every child needs the help. Every child needs sharing your experiences so that they can better take them decisions in their lives which will allow them to succeed. You as a parent need to share your experiences. You need to, if you need to tell them how, we're living in a time when even families that are two people, members of families might be working, but the savings aren't there because people are paying mortgages, people are paying them for a good 20 years of their lives. And because we're paying them for a good 20 years of their lives, and this is because and so it's for that reason the children should know that life is it's important in their life, that they actually do learn and do go to university and do well in order to better themselves in life. If they have a 5-day job and they are working, and they'll have more time to spend with their family on a weekend, and they won't need to work unsociable hours, or they won't need to, and they can go on that holiday twice a year, and they can go out. What I'm saying is, I'm saying this not from a financial point of view, but what I'm trying to talk about is peace in the sense that you can enjoy the time with your family as you develop and grow your children. You can take that time off, and that is only possible if you have that income coming. So we should say to our children, look, would you prefer earning £6 an hour or 6.50 an hour, or would you prefer earning £60 an hour? And that's what it comes down to. If for children, I'm not saying money isn't everything. It's definitely not everything. And if you're in teaching, if you're in health, I believe it should definitely not be a motivator. It should never be a motivator. Teaching and health we're not. It's not like going into a shop and buying a Mazda from Tesco's or Asda or Aldi. It's not. You can go buy a Mazda and it'll be the same quality everywhere. However, with education, you can't take risks. You've got to make sure that you get the right tutor on board who's going to support you. So many times, time again and again and again, I see children who are failing, improve so much. And sometimes parents do forget how much we've improved. Maybe we don't understand the education system to understand how much we've improved. Sometimes children have improved from being like, they might be in year 5 or 6, and they were like year 3 or year 4, and then we're able to do year 8 work. It's amazing how children improve with improved tuition, and if and therefore it's important to get the right partners with you on your side for your child's education. Tuition is very affordable nowadays. It costs £7.50 for many parents. It's still hard, but I remember my dad gave me tuition, and it was £8 an hour, and that was 30 years ago. And I remember £8 an hour. And what did he teach me? He taught me zilch. What I mean by zilch is he used to come half an hour into my lesson, tick, tick, cross, cross, tick, tick, cross, cross. And what did he do? He never explained anything. And he robbed, which because my parents never tracked him, he robbed my parents from £8. So it's so important that you should never be shy in asking the tutor about the progress the children are making. You should never be afraid for your child about the progress they're making. If your child is not making progress, don't wait to the end of your report to find out, oh, my child is failing or has failed. You will have wasted your tuition money, and you will have wasted a year. What you need to do is you need to have good contact with the teachers on a regular basis. You need to have good contact with your tutors and get them to give you feedback. You can't hassle them every lesson, but you can at least ask for a few moments of their time. If they're busy on a weekend, maybe a few moments on Monday to Friday, give them a call, see them in person, and get an idea of what's happening. That's your right, because you're paying money. So you need to make sure that you're on the case of the tutors, because if you don't question the tutors, if you go to the wrong people, they'll just reap the benefits. So you should question the tutors on how they're doing every so often, and if you ask for if you maybe every few months, maybe see the tutor for 5, 7, 10 minutes, Monday to Friday, to ask them, can I come and see you and discuss the progress, and you'll see that your involvement will really improve your child. It's a partnership. It's a partnership between yourselves, the parent, the child, and the tutor, and the school. And if all these people work together, it's going to be great. Governments will provide. Governments always work hard to improve schooling. Governments are always looking at ways of improving schooling. What governments can claim a lot of success in our schooling, even though it's in the public hands. Schooling helps a lot of children. When you compare it comparatively with other countries, we have a great education system, but in order to remain competitive as an economy, in order to remain competitive as a nation, We need education. Listen to your child, and them telling you their concerns should not be taken as a weakness. You should spend time with your child in discussion and talk about what we've learned in school and any concerns that they may have. This will allow the child to open up to you at some point and tell you. Don't be afraid to open a child's book and look at the presentation of a book. If you don't understand it, the presentation will tell you a lot of things about the child's attitude towards learning. Look at the comments of what the teacher is writing. Write it in the planner that, yeah, you have these concerns. So for example, you could pick up a science book of your child, read several comments, make an observation, make a judgment, and then any concerns you can write back into the planner. Or if you're in primary, even go see the teacher. And this will allow you to address problems early on. And the child will know that dad or mum is on the case, and the teacher will know that the dad and mum is on the case, and the form teachers will know as well. So it's important that if you use the planner as a means of communicating with your school teachers, and if any bigger concerns, maybe you can see them or meet them. So a weakness of your child should not be, we shouldn't get at them. We should recognize it as a weakness, and we should try and get the help. And getting the help, there's help with the teachers, there's help with tuition, there's help with schools, there's help with siblings. There's many ways that we can help. In this day and age, families go through a lot of problems, and like I mentioned earlier, there are a lot of families that go through divorce, and they go through help. They need help. A lot of children need help. They go through mental health problems, and there are a lot of, there's a breakdown in the traditional family, and it's important that children don't let it over, don't become overwhelmed by it, and pick themselves up and develop a sense of fighting back, and have that determination to fight back, and don't dwell on the problems, because you've got to be mentally strong, and children need to grow up, and they have more pressures to be mentally much stronger, and as parents we need to encourage that strength. Otherwise, what will happen is, the children are going to go into school, they're going to have worries and concerns. And sometimes it's important that we don't tell our children everything. It's important that they don't hear the problems around, because this could affect them. So you've got to create an atmosphere around the house which is fun, which is enjoyable, which is peaceful, which is going to be the right conditions for your child to excel. Otherwise, negativity will be implanted in the child. There will be insecurity in the child's mind. There will be instability in the child's mind, and the child will feel unable to progress and feel they can do well in there, because they'll feel as though they've got a lot of issues and concerns. So we've got to create the right conditions around the home and have that happy, fun, discipline, self-discipline manner around the house. So you too give children responsibility to do their bed or vacuum their room, so that they become self-disciplined, they become responsible, responsibility grows on them, and and that can be translated into studies, because they will become much more responsible if they if they'll become more responsible if you give them duties in your home. So I'm not saying that, we believe that destiny is written, but then if you're not going to work hard, then and you're not going to try, and every human has a choice and has freedom, and the discipline should be there in every parent, in every child, to succeed. Improved tuition is very good at motivating their children to succeed. It's astonishing how much difference we've made to many children's lives. I'm not just saying this out of service, I'm saying this out of what parents have fed back to me when I've gone out and I've met parents on children on and my tutors have spoken to other people, and the feedback they've taken, we've made a lot of difference to many people's lives, and we feel very proud of that. We feel proud of that because we know that we're contributing well into society. It's not just myself, but my tutors as well. The credit isn't just myself, but my tutors. They work very, very hard, and they work selflessly. Selflessly meaning that they work really very hard, and as though it's their responsibility. Our tutors take a lot of responsibility in helping children. Now, the secrets of success is that you've got to have that first to want to develop yourself. You've got to have that first, that I want something good for my child. A child should think, I want to contribute when I get older to society, and I want to do something good. And it's always about goodness. It's always about trying to do good. It's not about pride or prestige, and which really leads to arrogance or having a name or a claim. It's nothing to do with that. It's about doing goodness in society. If we do well in society, we can give to charities. We can give to these third world nations. We can give to the people that need it in this country, never mind third world countries. We can give to people around in our country as well, and help these people who are homeless, and get them to have a better life. There are people out there who may not have a meal to eat this evening. There are children who are adults out there who might not have a meal, and it's important that we don't just think about ourselves, but by improving our position, we also improve the people who are disadvantaged, because unfortunately sometimes it's out of circumstances that these people are in that situation. It's our responsibility, it's our burden in this country for us to do good for these people, no matter what race they are, no matter what religion they are, no matter what their beliefs are, what their belief systems are. You've got to be a good person. And it doesn't mean that because we're Muslim, that we need to be good. Every person, no matter what they are, should look for goodness. We should go for being a good person. We should try and help. We should develop a good character. The character, you can be a scholar, you can be an alim, you can be a person of a priest, a vicar, but you might be of bad character because there's arrogance and pride. You've got our children, we've got to instill in the minds of our children that you've got to contribute to society and do well for the people around us. It's our responsibility to help these people who are disadvantaged. yes, there are people in other countries, but there are also people around us. There are old people who who need help, who might not be able to do the things that young people can. We have an aging population. We've got to, as well as there's a lot of self-interest and competition nowadays. But a good, healthy society is about having goodness and having education, having that ability, that financial power. You can use that in a very good way. You can pass on knowledge to other generations in the future. Teaching, health are brilliant professions to be in because you're helping humanity. Now, earlier I talked about the fact that you're not going to love every subject, and you're not going to love every job. If you're asked to do an assignment, you've got to do it to the best of your ability. You may not enjoy that subject, but you might discover something that you have, and you might discover something new about you. My parents always used to say to me, "Go into teaching." Until 2003, my mum used to really push me into teaching, not because she knew her child. She knew from a cradle that he's got an ability, but I never understood that ability. And when I went into teaching, I used to tutor these children. I used to get 100% success. Every year I used to believe that this was a fluke, this was a fluke, and this was a fluke, until it happened the fifth time when I believed that, right, this is not a fluke. This is because of a lot of hard effort from myself, and some ability in me, and from the Almighty as well. Now, is gifted by Him. Now, what I'm saying is, you might not discover something in you, but if you try to give that homework your best, if you give that subject your best, just the way I discovered history, I was very good at. I may not have enjoyed it at first, but then later enjoyed it, and I still enjoy history. I love looking at, reading on history. Whereas previously I used to find it boring. As you get better at something, there's more likeliness that you're going to enjoy it and you're going to succeed. So that frustration is removed. So even though you might not love that teacher, you're not in. If you've got 11 subjects, you're not going to love every teacher. You're going to have those teachers you're not going to enjoy, but that doesn't mean you look down on that subject. You should still go for excellence. You should still go for perfection in that subject. And you should still get yourself motivated to do well in that subject. Because if you get yourself motivated to do well in that subject, then you're going to create the circumstances to do better. Choose that, get into that university you desired for, get onto that course, and get the things that you wanted, and chase your dreams. So, and you're lucky in this day and age that tuition is affordable. Like I said, 30 years ago, my parents used to pay £8 an hour for individual tuition. You can get it for £7.50 an hour nowadays, and you still get a lot of quality there. And you'll find that if you partner with the right company, you will be an investment in your child. Many people that you see around you, they weren't born with their businesses. They were born with their degrees. They may have come from disadvantaged circumstances. Their dad might have been a taxi driver, they're now a doctor, or they might have been from that single family. Now they are they lead a country. There are a lot of people out there who have succeeded, and we've succeeded because of hard work. We've succeeded because of hard work. If you don't put the effort in, then don't expect to succeed. These people have hit it lucky, but they've created circumstances in their lives through working hard. They've created opportunities in their life. They've created luck because of the determination and the vision and the dream that they've had. Some people have come into this country and haven't had, have owed people money, and they've done it. And they've come out or set out in the 70s and 80s and said, look, I'm going to be in this situation in 20 years' time. And they've done it. And they've done it because they've worked hard. And that applies for studying as well. It applies in studying. If you put the effort in, if you make them sacrifices, anybody can do it. Just the way that child was in set 4, the bottom set, and went into set 1, and is in the top 3rd grammar school at Hempman White, the top 3rd state school, should I say. Anybody can do it. But the right support needs to be there from the parents. You can, you know, it's not just about giving a child support for a year they're in and then you leave them. You've got to give the child support throughout the education. The children are your responsibility throughout the education. You can't just remove that support. You've got to, otherwise you're leaving them vulnerable. So you've got to have that vision to and determination to help that child. Now, if your child wants to be an engineer, or they want to be an inventor or an innovator, and this doesn't go with your own values, then let them research this area. Let them research this area and let them find out more about what this area is about, so they can make an informed decision. We shouldn't try to impose onto our children what we see as right. We can share our experiences, we can nurture children, we can perhaps influence them to a degree, but you've got to know when to stop. You know, children are naive, we do need nurturing. We don't understand the world around them. We don't understand how it all works, and we don't understand the wisdom behind what you're saying because of your experiences. You know, if there's no opportunities after a degree in that area, then it might be a wrong decision because they might be worse off. But you've got to then strike a balance between what they enjoy and the opportunities that are out there. Like I said, we live in a global economy. Children in the next, you know, from the last recession, the world will have changed massively in this new growth. Now, what the world was before the recession and what the world will be like after the recession is going to be two very different things, and the dynamics will have changed. Globally, there is more competition than ever before. That's why we as a country, we as a nation, we've got to push it. If we want to do well as a nation, if we want to do well as a country, then we've got to push it. Parents have to push it. Teachers have to push it. The governments have to push it. We've all got to push it in order. Otherwise, our ranking as a nation will go down. And as you see, there are countries like China and India who are going to be in the next 15, 20, 30 years, they will have all caught up. And if we don't take these opportunities, then we will lag behind. Our privileged positions won't remain. We live in this country. How many times have you been to India? 365 days, how much time do you spend in Pakistan? This is our country. This is where our children are going to school. This is the health system that we use. This is where we, you know, many of our families are buried. And we've got to realize that we should invest in this country. What happens thereafter is in the Almighty's hand. But you shouldn't scaremonger and think, right, we should just try and contribute positively to this society. You think about how the justice and fairness in different parts of the world, in the developing countries, there is in the legal system, in schooling, in opportunities, in governments, and compare it to here. Yeah, it's a non-Muslim country. So we've got to think of over in it from a fair justice way. There are a lot of problems with this country. We're not saying it. There is a lot of things out there that shouldn't be. But we've got to. The next generation need to overcome this, and there needs to be. We need to contribute positively in a way that is going to help and contribute to this country. If we start relaxing and we don't put the effort into our children, then their future, we're ripping them off their future, we're stealing them of their future, and as we as parents need to do the best. You can have a child from whose parents are taxi drivers or restaurant owners or work in a restaurant or work as a security guard, and these children can do well. But you've got to give them opportunities to the children, and we have them opportunities nowadays. Children have them opportunities, and we got to create that environment. If we want to give our children for opportunities, we have to create the environment around them for the opportunities. We need to remain involved in school. We may need to know what's going on in the school. We can't just rely on maybe an end of year report or an interim report before we start to investigate what's going wrong. The child needs to know that they need to tell you when they have an assessment, that they're writing it into their planner, or the school is informing you about any assessments or results that they've had. So you can track it, you can see what's going on. You've got to be well connected with the school and within the friendship circles, the children's friendship circles. So you know if your child is on right track or the wrong track, and you can get that information and keep that the children on the toes. So if you are thirsty for your child to succeed, if you really want your child to do well, if your child wants to succeed as much as they want to breathe, then you've got to support them. I'm seeing so many people from disadvantaged situations and circumstances today going into medicine, going into universities to become doctors, and have become doctors, and are going to contribute positively. I'm not just talking about doctors. we can go into many different fields, but this is just an example that how noble is it to help humanity. And teaching is one profession where you can help humanity and you can help the youth, and so is health. So again, everyone can't be doctors, everyone won't be electricians, everybody won't be engineers, everyone won't be solicitors. We all have our talents, we all have our abilities, we've all been blessed with something that we can contribute to in a positive way, and we should try our level best to contribute positively. You've been on the Improved Tuition Show. You can log on to our website, www.improvedtuition.org. You can send me an email, you can text me, you can WhatsApp me. You can, if you have a topic you'd like me to discuss and talk about, then I'd like you to text me. And once you text me, I can perhaps deliver it next week. I'll be here again next week at 5:15 every Mondays. I hope you enjoy the show. I hope the information we've given has been useful. Um, and I hope I've been a source of inspiration to parents, to governments, to children, to anyone who watches our YouTube. Mr. Al Mubarak, he's working very, very hard to get this going. He's been doing it for now 5, 6, 7 years. He started from home. Alhamdulillah, he's now moved on to this office. He's doing fantastically well. There's a lot of effort that's gone into this place. The same thing that happens in education. If you put in the effort, you'll see reap the benefits. Thank you very much.
Okay, Jazakumullah khair to Mr. Dabat from Improved Tuition. I hope that was a very, very informative and educational for everybody, parents and also the youth as well. I'm sure a lot of children are in the madrasa. But the whole reason for doing these shows whilst the children are in the madrasa is obviously if the parents know how important education is and towards our young children, then the parents will make that extra effort. The word effort is the key word, as Mr. Dabat was just going off. He said if we make the effort, then we will succeed. Behind everything today in our house, in our lives, etc., everything is because of our efforts. Everybody probably works very, very hard and puts in a lot of effort to put everything in our household. So big jazakumullah khair to Mr. Dabat, and inshallah again we will have an educational show inshallah next week as well, on the same day as well. We're going to be taking a break now inshallah, hopefully until about 8 p.m. or just about 8:15, so about another hour. Anybody watching us right now, then we will give the children an opportunity to call in and pray live, because I know the children go to sleep about 9 p.m. So we will give them an opportunity till about 9 p.m. And then inshallah we will wrap up after that as well. So anybody out there listening, may Allah bless all of you and keep listening, and inshallah we will be back again shortly, after we take the short break. Until then, assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Fi amanillah.